him! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
Welcome everybody to Earth 2 CC. It's your boy Mo Crosby, and I'm here to talk to you guys, give you guys my spoiler review of DC's latest movie, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, directed by Matt Reeves. I'm sorry if I forgot Jeffrey Wright. Can't forget Jeffrey Wright. Man, where did I start? Okay, let me start here. When I saw the movie last week, we couldn't comment on it. We couldn't post anything about it. And once we could, the first thing I posted about the movie was The Batman is the best first Batman movie I've seen in theaters. Let me go ahead and explain that statement real quick. I've seen two first Batman movies, and as they've been Batman Begins and now this, and this is the best one. I don't want to. What I'm not going to do in this review, which I've seen, which a lot of people have done, is compare this to The Dark Knight. Even compare this to Batfleck, or even compare this to '89 or any other iteration of Batman. I'm not gonna do that. Obviously, there are characters that I will talk about in this spoiler review that have been played by other people, and just, oh, okay, this is done differently, or this feels differently, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just not gonna call this movie better than. I'm not gonna say it does anything better than. I'm just gonna give you the Batman just as is, as my thoughts as I saw it, based on the story, the characters, the direction, and the music. Again, I feel like the music and Gotham are two important parts for a Batman movie, and Michael Giacchino kills it. I mean, you're coming off Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, very iconic themes for the Batman, and Michael Giacchino like decides to do something in this movie and owns it and knocks it out the park. Honestly, to me, I think the score in this movie is up there with some of the best Batman scores. If this is the Batman score moving forward, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I'm 100% behind it. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's move it forward. That's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna say on that, and that's what I'm gonna leave that. I almost caught myself calling something the best. But no, it's a really well done score, and it's beautiful. I love it. Michael Giacchino, he knocks it out of the park. Like everything he's done recently has just been knockouts, and I think this is another one of those knockouts. The next thing I do want to talk about, like I said, Gotham and the music. So Gotham itself looks good. Gotham feels scary. It feels real. I think one thing that I think the cast of this movie and Matt talked about was grounding the movie. Gotham feels like a very real city. It feels very tangible. It feels very real. It feels like the underbelly of a city, which is why, in my opinion, it works. This movie works very well based on the Gotham that we're getting. Again, we've gotten a realistic Gotham before, but this, I don't, how do I, like, I personally feel like Gotham in the Dark Knight trilogy was a little shiny. This feels like a gritty Gotham, if that makes sense. Again, not saying one is better than the other. This works for the story that's being told in this movie, and I think it works for the story that will be eventually told for this Batman universe. Again, we know that there's going to be spin-offs and stories told inside of this Batman universe, and this Gotham, honestly, I want to see more of, and I'm ready to see more of today. Matter of fact, yesterday or last week when the movie ended, I wanted more of this movie and I wanted more of this Gotham. So again, Gotham is a thing, is a character in this movie, and Gotham works, and Gotham is awesome in this movie. now I think it's time to talk about the story being told in this movie. Story being told in this movie is literally, it lends itself to like a David Fincher kind of Seven, almost like uh Son of Sam, like that kind of movie where you're playing along with the detective trying to solve the crimes, again. And what this movie does is, if you're a fan of the Batman or Batman's character, and you've been asking DC or or these directors to give you a detective Batman, listen, this is the movie for you. This is the movie that does that. You finally get a detective Batman. Again, Batman has been done and been done well by other people, but this Batman is the Batman that a lot of Batman fans have been clamoring for. I've seen it a lot in group chats I've been in forums I've been in discussions I've been in. Everyone's like, "Oh, Batman has never been a detective in live action. He's never really solved the crime yet. He's fought, the characters, but he's never solved the crime." You get that here. Again, because of the story where Reeves is adapting from The Long Halloween, it kind of lends itself to, you have to have Batman be a detective, and he does it so well. There's tech here in this movie that I can't talk about until we do a spoiler review. It just blends really well. I'm going to be heaping praise on this movie, and I'm going to talk about one flaw in a second. But before I do that, let me go ahead and talk about some of the characters that I thought I liked the most. I'll go ahead and start with this guy, man. I think he knocks it out the park as Batman. I think he knocks for the story. I think he knocks it out the park as Bruce Wayne. Um, I his Batman, again. We've seen Batman done. We've seen Batman be scared, but his Batman to me was the scariest because he was the angriest, and just because there's something they do with this Batman before you see Batman type of approach where you hear Batman before you see him, but you hear him for a minute. No, for a minute, not a minute, but a long time. You hear him and then you see him. There's a lot of shadows. And this Batman works in the shadows. Like, it's so awesome to see him lurk or come out of the shadow and just take on everybody. The fights are awesome. Again, this is coming from someone that loved the Dark Knight's fighting scenes. I didn't have any beefs or any questions on it because that, in my opinion, is how Batman would fight. This is coming from someone that loves that. And so I thought the fights in this movie were awesome. We've seen Batman fights. I thought the fights in this were awesome. I'm not nitpicking those fights. I love it. Give me more is all I'm gonna ask. That's all I'm gonna ask is give me more. Another character I liked was Andy Serkis's um, Alfred. I think he does well as Alfred. As well as Alfred is supposed to be. We've seen Jeremy Irons as Alfred. We've seen, I mean, in my opinion, one of the best Alfreds we've seen. Crap, his name escapes me now. But from the Batman Begins trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, help me out in the comment section. I thought he was like great. But Andy Serkis works really well for this movie and really well for this world. Colin Farrell, again, I'm today. I'll say it here today, and you hear it. I want more of Colin Farrell. We need more of the Penguin. And honestly, he is scary, unrecognizable in face and in voice. When he speaks, he's also unrecognizable because you can recognize Colin Farrell's voice. You don't recognize it here. And I think he does well in this movie to suck you into his character. And he has an amazing sequence of Batman. I think you've seen it in some of the trailers, but I loved it. I loved his every time he was on screen. I loved it, and I can't wait to see more of him. Paul Dano knocks the Riddler out the park for me. Um, we have seen the Riddler in live action before. No knock on Jim Carrey and his take on it. I just think Paul Dano's take, again, for what they're asking for the movie, for what they're asking for this world, it works because it gives you. I remember earlier in the review, I mentioned Son of Sam in the story. It gives you something like that. It gives you like a seven. you see the fear factor of the fact that this could actually happen with this character comes through in this movie. It makes the Riddler a little more scary. Now, okay, like I said, there's some flaws, but I'm just gonna run through the characters real quick, and then we'll go back into it. uh Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I loved, again, this is a Batman type, like year two. Say if you're looking at Batman Begins, this would technically be a sequel, but it's not. um so there's no Martha or origin story. Batman has already been Batman for a while, and that's what we're getting in this movie. Jeffrey Wright's Gordon already has a relationship with Batman this early, and that's why he asked him to come help him solve the murders that has been happening. And I loved it. I absolutely love their chemistry. I love them together on scene. I think they work, to me, they work the best as Gordon and Batman together. It's awesome to me. It just really is awesome to me. Those characters work well together. There's so much I want to talk about, but I can't because then we're going into spoiler territory. Finally, Selena Kyle, Zoe Kravitz. I loved it. I loved her. I loved her. We need more of these characters together. I am a fan of Bat and Cat together. As I'm not a fan of Batman, but I am a fan of Bat and Cat stories, and I think we've seen Selena Kyle 3 times. Anne Hathaway, Michelle Pfeiffer, and now Zoe Kravitz. Where Michelle Pfeiffer to me was had the sex appeal, and Anne Hathaway had everything else. I think Zoe has both, and she's able to. I feel if I'm going to say best anything, this might be my best Catwoman ever. I'm throwing it out there. Whoever wants to argue with me can argue down in the comment section and let me know how you feel. Now, the two flaws I want to point out, right? Well, it's simply a flaw. We'll go back to him real quick. It's him, and it's him as Bruce Wayne. And the only reason I'm saying it's him as Bruce Wayne is there's not a lot of Bruce Wayne swag or swagger, bravado, like the Bruce Wayne that we know. Say, the one that hits the one that runs his Lamborghini into another car in the broad daylight. You can't go out as bad. Are you going to be taking the other car out? You can't do that. Or Batman v Superman. You have Ben Affleck playing the Bruce Wayne that goes to a Lexus party. Or you have even if you go 89, like there's not that much bat swagger in this movie, but Bruce Wayne swagger in this movie. But as a flaw, it also has praise because again, this works as a young Bruce Wayne who's angry and who's still angry, who's still hurt, who's still dealing with a lot, who hasn't really fully fledged himself as the Bruce Wayne, or the Bruce Wayne mask or the Batman character. He's not really there yet. So we're actually, in my opinion, I think we're going to see him grow. So that was my flaw, but it is also a praise on the movie, or praise on the future of the movie. So if we see him grow from this point and his Bruce Wayne becomes, more of that Bruce Wayne that we know, I think this movie would be great because then it sets off that point for him. Um, Hopefully that's where they're gonna go. Um, the movie is 3 hours long, but it doesn't feel like it's 3 hours long. So you're not gonna feel that super long movie because and for one thing, I mentioned the story earlier. The story, you get right into the movie. One, two, um, the story actually fully fleshes itself out. There's no point in this movie where you're like, where you leave this movie and go, they could have, oh man, I wish this happened, or I wish they showed more of this. Every character has a fully fleshed out, arc in this movie. So you're gonna get to actually enjoy every character you see. The movie uses its runtime really well, 3 hour runtime, and you actually don't feel it. Even in the slow moments, you don't feel like the runtime because the movie does slow down a lot for you to catch up and breathe. But this movie actually works. Again, it's a good, really, really good Batman movie. I am not going to give a grade until we do our spoiler review. I'll wait till that point. But no, check it out. The movie drops on the 4th. It comes out on Friday. Yeah, the movie comes out on Friday. Go check it out. Or if you can check it out earlier than that, do that. Just don't get spoiled because there's some things in this movie that you don't want spoiled for you. Anyways, thank you for watching. It's been your boy Will Crosby. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop anything down in the comment section below. Let me know what you would like us to talk about. We're going to be doing a lot more shows this year. So thank you again for sticking here and keeping with us. I really do appreciate you. Again, like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. I've been trying to reach you. Find the gun! This is a powder keg, and Ritter's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.